Hey, I'm Tyler Halcomb, your favorite realtor and investor. Welcome to Agent X and Friends, where I interview the movers and shakers of the business and real estate industries in the Indianapolis and surrounding areas. Relax and enjoy the conversation. Well, here we go. This is the start of something new here I'm going to interview some local business owners and awesome CEOs and just movers and shakers in the real estate and just in the business world. So I had an awesome guest here with me today. He's an entrepreneur. He's a visionary. He's a CEO, a founder, a car enthusiast, a sneakerhead.
Yep.
And so we're excited. I'm excited to have him on as Devin Johnson here today.
Hey.
Little clap. Devin Johnson. So I listened to a podcast of someone who's awesome, who I when I got into real estate and listened, and they have a podcast now. And she always starts hers with, you were born and then what?
Yeah.
So I love that question. So you were born and then what? Can you just give me some?
Yeah. I was born into a family that wasn't expecting a child. So
Okay.
I was an accident child. Mm-hmm. My mom says that she still loves me, but
it's a good accident.
Yeah, right. And so I grew up in a just hardworking family. My dad, when I think I was 1, was incarcerated and then was locked up till I was about 12. So
my goodness.
My mom was pretty much a single mom. They were never married. Okay. My mom worked her butt off 2-3 jobs at a time, just keep me in a good school, taught me, finish what you start, get good grades, hold your head high, all the good disciplines that, a mother should pass along. And then when my dad got out of prison, I got to see 2 different lives. So my dad was fast money, street money. He came out of prison and right back at it, So I seen get money fast, and then I seen, take care of the family and these core disciplines. And so I found out my dad was illegally getting money through selling drugs. So, I was 12, pulled down a laundry basket, pound of weed falls out. And so from there, he sits me down. He's like, hey, this is what I do. Don't admire it.
So he was honest with you.
Yeah, he was honest. And then he didn't really hold anything back after that moment. And so one thing that I am thankful for, though, he never let me look up to it.
Right.
He was almost ashamed that that's what he knew, but that's how he got money. And
he hustled at it.
Yeah. So I got the hustle between my mom and dad and just applied that towards real business. And so
I love that.
Got to see 2 different, very unique sides of the house. And I seen my dad with quote unquote financial success, but very empty when it came from a personal standpoint. And then I seen someone like my mother, very fulfilled, but not necessarily financially crushing it. And so, I learned valuable lessons from both of them. Growing up, I'm a bit unique. My sister was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer when I was 15. And so by 16, I was helping out financially in different ways.
Wow.
My dad was strung out on heroin, not really present for a year. And so I grew up fast,
Yeah, that's a lot quick, man.
Yeah, I grew up very fast. I wouldn't change a thing about it, to be honest. It taught me adversity and one of my favorite words is being relentless. Tell me, if you're going to figure out a way, it's on you. And so, really adapted that mentality into, I didn't know what it was going to be, but damn it, I was going to figure something out. Right. And, so I started with sneakers, but sticking to you were born and then what, it was good, wholesome core values, stand up for who you are, what you believe in, but a lot of turbulence and challenges.
Yeah. So then you start to hustle, you get into the selling sneakers, you said, selling sneaker game. And how long does that go on until you kind of get into the real business world, I guess? I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So during high school, primarily learned basic business principles by flipping sneakers. Buy low, sell high. Yeah. Stock up on inventory, count your profit margins.
Yeah.
The whole fun basics, right?
Right.
And when I got my license, I started renting out small expos and letting people come buy, sell, and trade. So I learned to, when everyone wants to buy shovels, to sell the shovels,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Yeah.
And when a gold rush is going on, be the facilitator of, selling the shovels instead of selling an individual shovel. And so that was a basic early business concept that I learned. It was during the height, like the pinnacle of sneaker collecting and the craze, and
Oh yeah.
very hard to get your hands on certain pairs. And so,
So were you sorry? You were the person waiting in line at what?
so yeah, I started that way, but then I figured out that a few $100s goes a long way. So you could pay off store managers,
Cool.
and you just pull up and I just put them in your trunk. And so
Entrepreneur.
simple transaction. And, so the sneaker apps caught on to that. By the time I was graduating high school, all releases went to app-based because this was happening. It was not just like, I wasn't some unicorn out there.
Right.
Trust me. This was happening everywhere.
Right.
And so, that was probably my first business adversity, because all I really knew was the sneaker game of doing expos and trying to make a digital presence and selling online, et cetera, et cetera. But when the apps took over everything, and an app came out called StockX, where not only are the retailers controlling the inventory, but then you have a public facing application that tells you what to pay for it. So StockX is a stock market for designer goods, shoes, watches, jewelry. I mean, everything is on there, tells you what people are paying for it. And so back in the day, you could say, this shoe's worth $300, and people would be like, well, I can't verify that, so here's $300, right? And
did you negotiate back and forth back then? You say, look, no one else has this shoe.
Yeah, there was always some form of negotiation. For fellow sneakerheads that may listen to this, my bread and butter was a shoe called the Bread 11. I probably sold 1,000 pairs of those. So it was a super desirable Jordan as a retro 11. And I just knew I could get them for $150 and some for $300 all day. It's just like clockwork.
I love it.
Couple licks that here and there on shoes called like Yeezys. Back in the day, Yeezys used to be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so I figured out how to get my hands on those. Fun fact, I sold Little Yachty his first sneaker collection.
Oh my gosh.
When he got famous. So I have a picture with Little Yachty with like a fan of
how big a
10,000.
collection was that? Was he buying? What was he
sold
buying?
him, I think it was 11 pairs.
Okay.
So total transaction was just north of like 15 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. So I met him down in Atlanta. He had just got his first little lick of cash.
Yeah.
Him and his squad pulls up in G-Wagons, come in, buy the shoes, took a picture, fanned a bunch of money, and he was out.
That's fun, man. So how do you decide to stop doing that? Like that was, you were probably making a decent like chunk of change doing that and probably having fun doing it.
It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't a sustainable business that was going to change the world. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And then when the adversity hit with can't get them, and now people know what to pay for them, it was like, okay, now what? And then, so I made a pivot into, believe it or not, a door hanger business. This is drastic, but I followed this guy on Instagram, and another key business lesson that I learned, it's like, you see people crushing in certain verticals, like, oh, I can do that, right? It's called shiny object syndrome, but from an entrepreneur standpoint, right? Yeah. And so I go try this door hanger concept. I follow this guy on Instagram that seems to be crushing it.
Right.
And long story short, epic failure. Absolutely terrible. So then I go into digital marketing and realize I hated service-based revenue, meaning you start at zero every single month and you got to figure out how to go make that nut on business expenses that very first day of the month, right? And so watched a YouTube video by a guy by the name of Dan Martell about what is recurring revenue. I was like, don't know what it is. Sounds like the eighth wonder of the world, but we're going to figure it out. Yeah. So YouTube University my way through basics of software. So my first product was a very basic product. It would be considered like a Groupon. Okay. It was horrible. It was called Slingshot Savings, but all I could sell was these Mexican restaurants. So you'd go to it and it'd just be like, and endless amount of Mexican coupons, restaurant coupons.
And just like a coupon book?
Yeah,
Just
but online.
Oh, okay.
And
I
there
got
was
you.
this little avatar called Sammy Slingshot, and it was so stupid. But I actually found the original business plan not too long ago. That it was a horrible business, but a couple key lessons out of there was like, just because someone else is crushing it in XYZ vertical, like stay focused on your superpower and don't go down rabbit holes. And because digital marketing, everyone was crushing it there according to social media, right?
Right. All the gurus out there.
Yeah, and so that follows along with the next big business lesson that I learned, which is the social media is highlights of people's lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you easily get into a game of comparison. Like, John has his Lambo. Why don't I have my Lambo? Bob has his private jet. Why don't I have my private jet? And you get in this constant mental battle of like, I can't do this because he's already doing it, X, Y, Z. So moving in the game of comparison early in your business journey is key. Understand that you have your own race and stay focused on your one superpower. And so ended up making a change into a product that was called Connected. There's a LinkedIn automation platform. That's where I really saw my first big success in a real business. We had almost 200 employees at our peak. Mm-hmm. We serviced over 40,000 businesses with automating their recruiting, DMs, cold outreach on LinkedIn. And so
you were doing a lot of you were selling that to all these tons of businesses, right? But a lot of it was real estate too.
Yeah, we had like 4 main verticals: we had financial services, real estate, B2B professional services, and recruiting. Yeah, that was the main core focus on the customer base. But a lot of trial and error there. I remember one day, I'm like YouTube University on how to build a tech company.
Yeah, because you're the sales guy. You're the sales portion of this, right? You're not the like tech guy.
I'm like learning at night while I'm selling it. And so Google, we didn't submit some verification or something. Long story short, took our application off the marketplace.
Oh, man.
I was like, oh, shit. Well, I don't know what to do here. We started hard coding software by downloading files on shared Zoom calls. It looked like I was stealing everything you owned. Yeah. It was just like code across the screen, and then the application would pop up, and then we could deliver the service. But I mean, so many early trials and tribulations. I mean, it was sell during the day, customer support during the evening, learn at night. I mean, it was just a consistent cycle.
And so when you started that, that's you and a partner?
We had I believe in having a team around you, even in the early stages of what is my weakness. And so I had some couple co-founders in that business, various strengths from marketing, operations, sales, relationships. So there was 5 of us to start.
Okay.
Only 3 of us made it through it.
Okay.
So there's times where the business outgrows the individuals and you have to make some certain, situations and cuts. But yeah, it was, could have did it without them looking back on it. But as things evolve, people have to evolve. And if they can't get with it, then you have to move on.
I like that advice of like just starting out early and getting other people around you. It's like you can do it. You can go fast by yourself, but you can go farther, with other people too. So
you want to do 100% of a grape or 20% of a watermelon?
Right.
Which one do you want?
True. So what time period is that as Connect? Because we crossed paths at some point, which is, I just think that's interesting. I kind of want to, tap into that.
We launched we were producing revenue by 2018.
Okay.
At about 60,000 in the last month of 2018. And then by 2019, we were just north of $1 million by end of March.
Okay. And we crossed paths maybe around that time frame.
Yeah, I was...
when was that, 18?
I was moving back from Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay, when that happened.
And you had a sketchy listing on Facebook Marketplace.
That's it. It was, that's... And, it wasn't a sketcky listing.
It was sketchy listing. And he said, no credit application needed. Just, no, I'm just kidding. But...
that was my first home.
Yeah.
And it was my first rental.
Yeah.
And so you coming into that, yeah, the sketchiness and
He goes, okay, fill out the application and blah, blah, blah. He's like, dude, your credit score sucks. It's like, yeah, no, I'll pay you 3 months at a time. He's like, okay.
I think we can make this work.
Yeah,
I think we can figure this out.
I gave him 4 months of rent up front. He's like, oh, okay. And so I used to pay him a quarter at a time because I was moving back from Kentucky. That's a whole
I didn't know you were out of state at that point. Maybe yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother shit show for a different day.
Okay,
But,
fair.
Long story short, I got a country music artist signed and I had to live in Kentucky, but there's a lot there.
Getting it? Oh, what? We're going to have to go down rabbit hole. Talk about shiny object syndrome.
Okay, so when I was running the marketing agency, I had met this crazy couple down in Lexington, Kentucky, and we're just, I drank at that time, so we're just sitting there drinking, and I turned on a song, or my business partner turned on a song at the time, and it was this local artist, and I'm like, damn, he's good. He's like, is he signed? I'm like, no. They're like, well, we'll sign him. They're like, yeah, whatever.
That's so random.
So, true story. They take us. They had pretty wealthy family out there in Lexington, and a lot of money in that area. But they have a indoor softball arena at their house, and so they take me out there. They lift up the turf, and from wall to wall is stacks of 10,000 underneath this turf. And they're like, we're serious. They give me $250,000 in a backpack and said, go get it done.
Wow.
So that was my
Do we know this artist? Will we have known it? Maybe not. Maybe know his name.
No.
Okay.
Because he really messed it up. I'm gonna save the public shame. But
okay.
He had the opportunity to go big time, and I don't know what got in the way. But long story short, I had to live there for 6 months. And so when I moved back up here, didn't know what we were going to do. Stayed at my mom's for a few weeks. That was hell. Love you, Mom, but that was awful.
We can cut that if we need.
No, it's all good. It's all good. She listens to all of them. So
that's fine.
So I was like, I gotta get a place, and my credit was rebounding. I had the horrible situation. Dad let a car go without being paid, and then he passed. Blah blah blah. Right, whole story there. But so you gave me an opportunity to have my own house. So
I love that. Just that's where that came from, because I don't, just from a real estate aspect of investing in real estate, which I know you do as well, and for me to take that leap just to keep my first house as a rental, and then for that path to cross and then you did eventually buy another house, and now we're under for another purchase going here forward on a pretty cool spot. That's gonna probably make you more money than it's costing you. I mean, so I think that's gonna be awesome for you too. But so that going from, man, you jump around a lot of businesses and do that. And then you move back home, you're with Mom, then you're at my place for a little bit. Was it maybe a year, maybe two?
We were there a year, yeah.
A year. And then you move on to the next place. And now with your hat that we see here, I kind of want to jump into the future of AI and like the power of it.
Sure.
And so now you're with a company called Sales AI, and obviously that's just an exciting subject, and you're a guy that follows the trends, man, and that's awesome. And then you get after it, and you just dig deep, and I don't think exploit's the right word.
Yeah, explain. Yeah, so, with Connected, we were servicing a lot of the cold lead generation space. So, meaning we'd help you automate your recruiting, automate meeting new business owners, yada, yada. But we recognized a pattern of businesses actually struggle more with conversion than they do with lead generation. Yeah. Meaning someone knocks on your door and you never answer it, right? And so we started building out a product to add into Connected to automate the whole process. And we started building what is known as a language model, not a large language model, but just a language model.
Okay.
Meaning it can do actions without human input.
Right.
And so opportunity came to exit Connected. I said, okay, but I keep this. We kept the key data, key elements of it, and we boxed it up into a product called Sales AI. Sales AI is the ability to run AI agents. So think of an agent as a human being or equivalent
Okay.
to do phone calls, texts, and emails
Okay.
with anyone interested in your business or calling you for customer support or help.
Wow.
So it can run end-to-end phone calls, have two-way conversational text, like if me and you were texting.
Yeah.
Same thing with email. So,
Wow.
and that's what we do all inside of one platform. But I went from focusing on cold lead generation to working with businesses that already have an established pipeline.
Right.
And we just make it more efficient, focusing on delivering real opportunities onto the calendar.
So we're seeing, we're seeing conversion rates go, I mean, how are those changing their businesses in real time on their conversion rates from where they were to when we throw you in?
Yeah. So a really good human's going to have from a cold lead perspective, 2 to 3% is like killing it.
Yeah.
From the AI perspective, we see anywhere from a 10 to 12%.
Wow.
Better conversion. 1, AI doesn't sleep. 2, it doesn't complain. 3, it says the same thing over and over. And 4, it's not going to let you get off the phone. Right.
Okay.
And so you have no emotional human element interacting or affecting AI's performance. And so, and it can also do, it can do 30,000 calls a minute, right?
Wow.
Compared to takes an hour to do 100 phone calls for a human, right? And so,
and that's 24/7. And I don't have to talk to the rude lady on the other end of the line that's trying to hook my utilities up that I've been trying to get utilities turned on at a property for 3 days.
Yep.
And you have to wait an hour. So I assume there's less waiting time.
It's instant.
So I'm waiting an hour on the phone.
I'm bidding on that contract. So.
Yeah.
for the power.
Dude, please. What can I do to help? Like, my goodness, it's been 4.
Write him a letter.
Dude, anything you need. Seriously. I'm at the utilities, man.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. You can't say, well, I'm going to use someone else then. I'm going to have someone else do the gas.
Yeah, they're little monopolies.
Monopoly, and there's nothing you can do. So, I think that sounds amazing. I mean, I think everything's going, everything has to go that route. I just feel like it makes sense for things as when AI gets better and better and can have those phone conversations more seamlessly with people to where, you aren't saying one thing and it's telling you said something different. Yeah. And that, I mean, I've seen it get better myself, and it seems like it's happening more. It's exponentially faster.
Every day it's equivalent to like 6 months.
Yeah, see,
so every day AI gets better. It's estimated that this new technology wave of AI, equivalent to like the last 10 years of technology, will be achieved in 2 years.
Yeah, see,
so it's like every day is like 6 months in the realm of innovation.
I believe it.
It's insane.
I believe it. So I mean, that's I love that idea. I think that's going to be awesome. I would, expanding that into other businesses and how, I guess, for me personally, I want to know how we get more of that in real estate. Like, what's the future of that? Do you know? Yeah. Can you see it yet?
Yeah. So think about you throw a property up and you're like, call me, right? Yeah. Well, let's say you're showing someone a house and you miss a call, or maybe you have average day, you have 10 missed calls.
Right.
You can insert AI, upload the product or property information, and AI can have that entire qualification call and book them for their showing.
100%.
Without you having to ever interact.
Right.
And it's just on your calendar, right?
Love it.
And then from a customer support perspective, let's say, you're someone like yourself, or we do short-term rentals, so a lot less of it, but long-term rentals, calling about, AC's broken, whatever.
Yeah.
Set up an agent, be able to handle that, create the ticket, deploy the work.
It's almost taking place of a property manager. Like,
yeah, AI has the ability, I encourage people. I'm not the guy that's like, AI is going to take over the world and take every job. That's not me. But if you are someone front lines working phones and you're not leaning forward into AI, it does have the potential to replace you in magnitude of you can't even fathom.
And
right?
that's a delicate conversation, right? Of AI taking jobs.
It's already doing it.
Yeah.
I can't disclose some of the companies, but I work with 6 of the Fortune 100s, and it's
coming.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you like it or not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard an interesting perspective on something I was listening to with AI taking taking people's jobs, but it's going to do, people always look at it as a negative, whereas that it's going to do so much more than just take jobs like for you and for people's lives that, you know, you can actually think about, hey, maybe I don't have to work because AI is going to take care of this, and this. And maybe I get to focus on something I'm passionate in because AI is taking over some of these monotony of things.
Yeah.
It's just a better way to look at it. It's a better lens.
From an economic lens, right? If, let's say you unlock 20% margins and the average because of AI, you're going to have more money flowing into higher paid roles, bigger opportunities.
Right.
There's more money to exchange hands, right?
Right.
Whereas right now, a lot of P&Ls sit on COGS. The most expensive thing is customer support. You know, some of these companies will look and they're spending, you know, $100 million a year for people to tell you how to return something.
It's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is silly.
Right.
And where you could be elevating that person to operate AI to do a whole region.
Okay.
And they could be paid, you know, $500,000 a year because they're so, you know, diligent with make sure that process is seamless while saving that company another 20% to the bottom line.
Yeah. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense. So, numbers wise, can we talk numbers? Like what from the company from start, where are we at now?
Yeah. So,
and how quickly?
Yeah. So we launched product in May. Well, in this year, about $7 million in recurring revenue. So recurring revenue, for people that don't know what that means, it means that revenue's there every single year.
Yep.
And then we have just north of 30 million in contracts that start in the beginning of 2025.
Love it.
So what it took in 3 years, we basically did it in 7 months.
So you think you picked that right tool to move out of that business to run with and dive deep in?
It rears other problems, like I call them champagne problems, but like problems with like keeping up with product demand. I have a market moving faster than my product team. So that creates different challenges. But I would take that over a sales problem or personnel problem. And so, you know, that's what I spent, you know, 2 hours before this working on was that, you know. And so again, nothing's perfect.
Right.
And I'll be the first to tell you, like, AI is great. It still requires a very smart human behind it. It is not to the point where you can roll out of bed and AI is just going to do your life. We're years away from that, right?
Right.
And people just think it's just this magic easy button. It's not. Like, we have to still work with very competent people that use our product. Now, once the product's in place, life changer. But it still takes that human element
to integrate it into the business, right?
Yeah. AI is only as good as the person inputting the information.
Right.
So if you put shit information in AI, you're going to get shit information on the backside.
Right. It's a good helper after you got the right person in place to put it in there. It's a good assistant.
Yeah.
It's not going to do everything for you from start to finish if you don't know what you're doing.
That's right.
So, okay. That's mind blowing, honestly, all this stuff going forward. So we got the nod a little bit here in a new advisory role.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
top of mind.
Yeah. Not to go into too many details, but we got a new administration taking place, and I got a pretty cool advisory role coming up in January, talking about AI policies and what is the future state for good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
So I get to see and hear, both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
It is from state to federal, one of the biggest focuses is safe AI because they know it's not going anywhere.
Right.
And it's 90% of topics.
Don't want it to get away from anybody either.
Yeah. Right? I mean, there's already bad actors in the space.
Yeah.
Just like when the political campaign was running, they were cloning Joe Biden and calling people to raise money, and it was not Joe Biden.
It is great.
So there's
crazy time.
It's just like a firearm, right? You could save the day or you could end someone's day,
Right.
And so, there with great power comes, safety that needs to come around that, and they're behind.
Got it.
And they're very behind. And so I get to help over the next 3.5, 4 years.
Wow. So is that gonna pull you away a lot in that role? Is it?
No, it's a good feeder system for us to be able to work with these states and great product opportunity. So, I view it as too good to pass up. And so I do have a very mature leadership team at Sales AI. So, we weighed out the pros and cons, and there's not really that many cons other than I'm gone once a month.
Right.
But, I have a leadership team that I would argue is way smarter than me at this point.
Yeah, you surround yourself with smarter people than you, right? That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, it's who, not how, right?
That's right. So people probably older than you as well. I don't know why the age thing just interests me, but...
Yeah, every person's older, actually.
Yeah. And can you tell us, you're allowed to mention who's on this advisory board?
Yeah, it's not public yet, but...
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Rhymes with bump.
It rhymes with, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
And but it's very exciting times ahead, and we just got to execute.
Cool. We got a segment called Turbo Time with Tyler.
Okay. That's super cheesy.
It's really cheap. We're still working on some names here.
Turbo Time with Tyler.
Turbo Time with Tyler. And I don't even, I'm going to have to come up with some stuff on the spot. But we said we wanted to make it a little bit techie.
Okay.
But I didn't really get too many techie. So I don't know. I have to go a little different route. But it's going to go something like.
You can go rogue. It's okay.
Okay. Well, we're going to say you got to do it quick, rapid fire.
Yep.
And so Terminator or iRobot?
iRobot.
Peanut butter or jelly?
Peanut butter.
I wish I knew. What's your favorite accessory? Watches or necklaces?
Watch.
I wish I knew the best shoes, but I'm just going to say favorite shoe. What's the top shoe? You're the sneakerhead, so what's the top shoe? If you had to pick one that you're walking the house with.
What the dunk?
What
Nike,
the dunk?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you wearing now?
Low. These are Golden Gooses.
Golden Gooses, okay.
They're not worth it.
They're not with it?
They're not worth it.
They're not worth it?
$700 of junk.
But they
look good.
They look good.
Yeah.
Because they look like it's like you're hustling. They're worn down, right?
Yeah. They look beat up. They look like they went through a garbage disposal.
And that's how they sell them.
That's how they
the
sell
key.
them. Yeah.
So,
the only reason I buy them is because the tag says keep dreaming.
That's your daily wear?
No, I have like 300 pairs of shoes.
You choose something new every day?
Yeah, it's hard, honestly.
Yeah, I bet.
I normally...
What's the shoe collection? How many pairs we got?
I don't know. I think it's like 300 something.
Okay.
I honestly going to count when I move.
Ooh, we got to talk about cars. What car are you driving
today?
Today.
Oh. I have 4.
Okay.
So I have a Cybertruck. I have an Aventador, Huracan, McLaren GT.
And what, they're all fun in different ways, or do you have a clear, true favorite?
Oh, I have a 67 Camaro too. It's like there's categories. When you're a car guy, it's like daily driver Tesla, weekend car Aventador, like appreciation Camaro.
Fair. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. I think we can wrap it there, dude. I appreciate you sitting down. I think we got a lot of value provided here, and just thinking about the future of AI and all that is awesome. It's cool. It's cool just to see the journey from how everything started, because I kind of got to see it a little bit in the background as we went along, and just excited to work with you and know you. And I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Quick highlight. If you need to buy a house, call Tyler. He gets it done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for Agent X and Friends. See you on the next one.